Welcome to the Dragon Slayer podcast, the podcast where we talk to business leaders about the amazing obstacles that they've overcome throughout their careers. On this week's episode, Travis Powell, the CEO and founder of Blue Phoenix Branding. Travis.
Yes.
For our listeners who don't know you, introduce yourself to us. Tell us who you are, what company you're at.
My name is Travis. I'm with Blue Phoenix Branding. I've been in business for 4.5 years, and I sell branded merchandise to corporate clients across the country, but a lot more here in Idaho Falls area.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so 4.5 years.
Yes.
Gosh, you're right in the midst of most startup businesses where they're over kind of the startup blues.
Right. Yes.
And things are starting to work a little bit. I want to hear about how did you get to this? How did you get to Blue Phoenix?
Okay, Blue.
Yeah.
So, class of '93. So this is taken it way back, long before Bailey probably.
I think that's okay, right? Like, because part of Blue Phoenix, because I've worked with you for about a year now.
Yes. Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it?
It's awesome. Yeah. So much of Blue Phoenix is you, right? You are injected in every last bit of swag that you put out, and you got the big personality that really dominates the whole brand, which is one of the reasons I love working with you, because it's fun all the time.
Thank
right?
you. Yes.
So how did you get to be,
Of course.
what you are?
Yes,
How
yes.
did this happen to you?
Straight out of high school, worked at a print shop, actually a copy shop, back in the days where you would put paper on and it would swipe for each color, magenta, cyan, black, whatever.
Was it like a Kinko's or something like that?
Similar, except independently owned.
Yeah.
And 2 minutes later, you would get a copy. So we would. I started that because I didn't want to go to college or do anything else.
Were you 94?
93. 93. The technology was just not there. And yet I'm like, oh my gosh, a copy came out and it's full color. Now it's way too yellow, whatever the case may be.
We didn't care.
We didn't care.
We were
just excited.
recently just getting like dot matrix like printouts.
Right, exactly.
Remember you had and then you had to tear off the.
I think people would look at you and say, "Don't say we," because Travis is clearly older by decades. There's the hair difference. So
this is a toupee. This is
no, I know. I'm just going to swipe it off partway through. So. And I did that for a number of years, printing, and then about 12 years ago, I went to work for a friend who had started up his own print shop in Idaho Falls, and I became a salesperson, which in truth, I wasn't. It's one of the more shy people, I know, shy, subdued people that a person would ever meet. So I don't know why in the world I was there. And I did that for a number of years, 8 years. Okay, as a child, were you like, printing? That's where I want to be. Yeah, you're right.
How did you end up?
That's my first word was paper.
Like, how did you end up going into that? Was it just like an opportunity that fell in your lap? Okay, Necessity.
Including when I went to this local print shop because the economy in 2008 tanked.
Right.
So the business I was currently doing went out of business. I went bankrupt in Southern Oregon. No one was hiring. And so I had this person reach out and say, hey, do you want to move back to Idaho and do this? Well, I didn't have much choice. The resumes I sent out were politely ignored. And so back to Idaho we went. And I did that for a number of years. Now, remember, I was a print guy for most of that time. And I was really good at selling print. Then what's
the pitch on print? Like, how do you get really good at selling a piece of paper with some like ink on it?
Good looks. Right? Yeah. In this particular case, we had all the capabilities anyone would possibly need. So a local source that had the equipment for this job, for this job, for this job. And I'll give this owner credit. He invested heavily to make sure that we had everything we needed to sell. I will tell you, within that first year, I was just about finished. I had worked my butt off and was so excited. And then the sales numbers came back after 1 month, and it was $16,000 all month long. I said, I can't do this. There's no possible way. I have all of the print business in Idaho Falls. And it's $16,000, and my paycheck was probably $10. So you're making a nickel an hour, and I was ready to be done.
You were commission only? Is that how it
No,
worked?
no. Actually, I had a base plus. So gratefully, so probably what he was thinking is like, hey, this is not working very well. Stuck that out. And maybe 4 years into it, I had a client who said, hey, and this was my top print client, local hospital. He said, hey, I need some lip balm, I need some totes, and I need a canopy for a cancer institute that we're opening up. And I was like, well, good for you. I'm a print sales guy. He said, just give me some numbers. I was like, ah. So I provided some numbers for lip balm, tote, and canopy. And a canopy is just a branded with the logo.
Yeah, it's like a tent thing.
Right, I sell those each and every day now.
Right.
It's crazy how many of those I sell. And he said, these are way too expensive. I was like, that's fine. Let me do your print collateral. It's like, no, Travis, come back. So I did more research, and I hate doing research. I love knowing everything. And
hate the process of
I
knowing
hate the
everything.
process, yes. So we finally got, and other people were trying for this business. So why in the world this guy kept pushing me?
Okay, so why?
Because people do business with people at the end of the day. And I'll probably say this later down the road, but there are thousands upon thousands of people who do exactly what I do.
Yeah.
From the big behemoth in the industry, 4imprint.com, with approximately $800 million in sales annually, to people who do it out of their basement, and they may sell $100,000 per year. But we are a dime a dozen.
It's pretty commoditized.
It is very much. That's it. I'm selling pens. I'm selling lip balm. And yet I sell a lot of it. So it came down to the relationship. So I finally found the lip balm. I found the tote. And I found the canopy. And by the way, the canopy broke like the first windstorm that came along. So I did not sell a good canopy. But 2 weeks later, they're like...
the Cancer Institute logo flying away.
Yes, exactly. So, big win. So... he said, hey, these were a hit, except for the canopy. So let's go ahead and order double what we'd done before. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. It's really easy once you found the right lip balm to make a new order for twice as much. And the same with totes. And suddenly I went from being 0% promo and 100% print to where over the course of the next few years, I was approximately 50-50. And then... that kind of went south. I was fired from that job. I think this particular person would disagree with that assessment of firing, but I suddenly found myself without a job. And we decided, I'm only good at this. There's nothing else I can do except mill modeling. And and based on your response, clearly that was not the right.
No, give him the double cannonballs. You just show them up right there. Yeah.
So I started Blue Phoenix branding. Within 3 days of being let go, I was in Cleveland, Ohio with a discovery day for Proforma. Proforma is #2 print and promotional products in the country with approximately $600 million combined. But that's a number of us, a bunch of us franchisees. It felt good. Again, people do business with people. And I met the founder of that company, Greg Mazzillo, and I said, you know what? This feels like family.
Yeah.
So I shook his hand. We signed paperwork within 2 weeks, and Blue Phoenix branding was born. But it about died at that point.
What happened? Okay, so what happened here?
You know, it's a pesky thing called non-competes. And I had...
because you came from the business.
I came from the business.
And you were starting a competitor, basically.
100%.
Yeah.
And not recognizing when you've got someone with extremely deep pockets and a willingness to utilize it, just what a challenge lay ahead. I remember I'd taken my family to a movie, and on the way back receiving an email from a lawyer, and I'm like, well... here we go. So we more or less shut it down. And it basically said, and I want to be careful. I want to be fair to everybody, but I also want to be fair to myself in this assessment. It said, stop. You cannot do business. Now, as we learned a little bit later, as this got deeper and deeper, I could not do business within 60 miles of any of his businesses, of which there were many. So essentially from Island Park, Idaho, all the way past Provo, Utah, the entire I-15 corridor, there was nothing. So I even had my sister who said, hey, I need some business cards. My sister lived in Georgia. It's like, I don't dare do anything right now. So for about a month and a half, we just decided what we could do. No money coming in, financed with credit cards. And we decided we would start the business in Twin Falls, Idaho, which is about a 2.5-hour drive from Idaho Falls.
Did you have any clients from Twin Falls?
It wouldn't matter.
Anybody in your book?
It wouldn't. So there may have been a couple, but it would not matter. The terms of that agreement said I could not do business with any. And as such, the first time I drove to Twin Falls, I looked down on that city, and I think there's only 45,000 people. And I wanted to throw up. What? I didn't know anybody. And again, I'm shy, or I was.
Yeah,
Which is
I have a
surprising.
hard time
Right?
hearing
I I can't even believe it.
You.
Well, I will say this.
Yeah.
You know, there's an interesting intersection here where your back's up against a wall
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, right? Finances are not in a good spot.
They were bad.
You know, trying to get through the day on credit cards. It's not a fun situation for anyone. But something magic happens in that space too. I worked at a company years ago during the same economic collapse you were
Yes.
talking about. And we had an operating line of credit with a certain bank that I won't mention. And for several $1 million. And a lot of it, we were a software company. And so a lot of how we were doing it was we're going to grow it. But we're using this line of credit to grow it. And they pulled that line of credit from us. So we had no operating capital. We were basically running at a loss at that point in time. And man, there were some tense moments and some tense meetings. And I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. I remember sitting in my CEO's office with a couple of other people. And we came to this decision where we all said we're not going to take a salary. And the CEO basically, like in almost a tearful state, was like, you know what? Then I'm going to give you, instead of money, I'm going to give you equity in the company. And that's what I'm going to do for you for doing this. And we thought every day it was over.
Yeah.
Every single day we thought it was over. I remember like getting up in the morning and like taking a shower and brushing my teeth and being like, I hope the door is open when I get there. I remember feeling just like that.
And
for
the
several
heart
months.
hurts during that time.
My goodness. And, you know, of course, I wasn't making any money at that time either. 6 years later, that whole place turned around and we had a $1.6 billion valuation. And that ended up being like really, really good,
Right.
But only because we stuck it out in that moment. Your story is exactly the same. And what happens to you in that moment is you make a decision. You make a decision to shrink, or you make a decision to step up to the plate and hit a home run. And I'll let you tell the rest of the story. I already know the outcome, but continue
I hope
the
you think
story.
it's a home run. It's a work in progress.
Everything.
That speaks to me so clearly. Now, there would be nothing wrong with you to have backed out at that point and found something else. Nothing wrong for me to say this is impossible to start from scratch, which over the course of the next year, his lawyers continued to pursue me for a few other things. So tens of thousands of dollars of legal fees just fighting that. I can't even tell you the level of emotional, I don't want to overstate, but even devastation at times thinking about these things. And it was a decision. And part of it was just that, you know what? I'm not going to lose my house. I'm not going to lose what I've worked so hard for. And at the end of the day, a non-compete says you can't take all the tools that we gave you, but they don't own me. And people do business with people. And as such, that's all I was bringing to the table, the ability to create relationships. We had one critical moment where we were completely out of money. And I just happened to meet the right person who was able to creatively finance with an SBA loan because he worked for a regional development. Without him, we're done. But every time I needed a door opened, the door opened. But I had to actually move forward to be able to find those doors. It's not a passive act.
Yeah.
I had to move forward, and I was scared spitless, and I'd be ashamed. That first day, all I did was drive around Twin Falls and look at businesses and say, I'm going to go to this one next time when I grow a set of cojones and actually can go in. And it was embarrassing to go home, and I didn't tell my wife that I didn't actually prospect. I just planned because I was too scared.
Yeah.
We did that for a full year, and there are some really good things that came of it. If I had been allowed to start in Idaho Falls, I would have picked up some tremendous clients that I already had, and I would have gotten comfortable.
Right.
Instead, it forced me out, and it put us in some opportunities out of state, out of town, with some incredible clients. We just actually closed a temporary company store for really big client out of southern Middle Oregon for 1,700 employees, where they all got to choose their own branded swag. We just closed that. We'll be fulfilling it. Never would have picked them up if not for the fact that I had to go outside of my comfort zone. I went to a nonprofit conference and I see these two gals with this insurance company. I'm like, I bet they would be good. And they were probably so sick of me because I said,
I mean, I'm sick of you now.
I did.
Yeah.
I kept thinking, I know, right? You're like, let's cut this off. I would go to their booth. I had a booth, and they had a booth, and I would take swag over, and I'd say, I'm going to promotional product woo you today. And that could come off a little weird, but I kept at it. Our personalities aligned really well to where they've become a tremendous out-of-state client. None of that would have happened if not for the fact that I had to. By law, because he's got really good lawyers, I had to step outside of what would have been a very comfortable place for me.
He kind of did you a favor unknowingly,
Well, yeah.
right? Yeah.
I have to think long term, we'll look at it that way. Now, understanding the debt that we incurred credit card wise, the retirement eaten up by legal fees, that hurts. And it hurts to this day, but we're 4.5 years into it. Every year that hurts a little bit less as we expand our footprint.
Yeah.
So what's the farthest state that you reach?
We've done Florida for a hospital for employee appreciation. I would
About
have
as
to think
far
that's
from here as
probably-
you can get.
Most of our clients would be Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, very few in Utah, shockingly. Quite a lot in Oregon, but then we really like credit unions and banks. I've decided it's like, let's be the best at what we do for these type of businesses. And we've decided financial institutions are one we're really going to focus on. And we got credit unions in multiple states and thoroughly enjoy credit unions.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yes.
Happy to hear that.
Good.
Okay. So this is so fascinating because, all right, so you went through this difficult period. You get pushed out of your comfort zone, which maybe you can even look, and maybe it's too close still, but maybe you'll be able to look back and say, man, that was such a good thing for me personally to have to do that. How did it change you at your core of like who you are?
At East Idaho Credit Union, we're a full-service business lending center. We can help with all of your needs, from a small startup all the way to a large enterprise and everything in between. Our commercial loan officers will work with you to understand your business and to help get you to the next level. Come check us out at eastidahocu.org/business.
All right, so you went through this difficult period. You get pushed out of your comfort zone, which maybe you can even look, and maybe it's too close still, but maybe you'll be able to look back and say, man, that was such a good thing for me personally to have to do that. How did it change you at your core of like who you are?
I'm going to rewind just a little bit before I got fired, because that's where the evolution began. Things were bad at that job. I could tell. I was going to be gone within a year regardless, because I could just see that at least what I thought it wasn't anymore. And that's okay. Businesses change.
They do. Yeah.
I may have been too constricted by golden handcuffs to actually make the move. I don't know. But I took my kids a few months previous to, it was called Comic-Con at the time, or FanX. And those who go to those things know they're for big geeks, big nerds. Please know I'll wear just about anything for any occasion. And I had promised my kids, this was in Salt Lake City, mid-September. I said, look, let's meet these criteria and we will all cosplay. Cosplay is dressing up as superheroes or characters.
So what did you guys dress up as?
Okay, so I've got my daughter Kyla here, and she was, oh my goodness, it's from The Flash. She has some icy powers, and I'm embarrassed to say I can't remember.
What was it? What was it?
It was Killer Frost.
Killer Frost, and she looked beautiful.
Killer Frost.
My youngest was Catwoman. My son Colton was Gambit from X-Men.
Of course.
And nobody except really big geeks knew what I was until
okay.
the movie came out a year later.
Okay.
I was Shazam. Shazam is 14-year-old Billy Batson, who, when he says the word Shazam,
Right.
he's infused with the powers of Greek gods.
Yeah.
And
Do you remember the ripoff of Shazam that came out probably like 1994 with Shaq in it?
yes.
What was that called?
I think it's Kazam.
I think it was Kazam is what they called
And
that.
no one's going to say anyone to Shaq because he's so big and scary. But Shazam he's got a red outfit with a cape and
Yeah.
big lightning bolt. So everyone's like, oh, that's a cool Flash costume.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, the Flash would not wear a cape. He cannot run as fast. So there has since been a Shazam movie. So anyway.
Is that been scientifically proven?
Yes,
No?
yes, that is science.
That's a real thing.
Anything I state about superheroes, you can take it to the bank. It's been quantified many times
I
over.
believe there's some more drag for sure.
Right, yeah.
Would it be noticeable with a guy like that, though?
You know, if you're going like 20 light years versus 9, I think at the end of the day, lives are lost when you don't have your full capability.
I think the cape would be lost.
The cape would be lost.
No, it's got to be a special material or something.
Right.
But look, if he was going that fast, all of his clothes would come off.
Right.
Wouldn't it? Like they would just
Right,
get torn from his body.
And I tried that. Actually, I want you to know, when you are wearing spandex, and that's all I had was a spandex outfit.
Yeah,
with,
tell me
with
more about
shiny
that.
gold
Yeah.
boots and a gold sash and a cape. Spandex in September, mid-September weather when it's 40 degrees, you might as well be naked.
Brisk,
Because it is
Yeah.
so incredibly brisk. So we left the hotel that morning. We went and parked at City Creek Mall, which is a few blocks from there.
Okay.
And it was so cold. And again, there's no protection afforded at all.
I can only
including probably
imagine.
from people's eyes.
That's the thing that I was concerned about.
Right. No,
Yeah.
no, it duly noted. It's true.
Has anybody been asked to, like, were you at any point approached by security at Comic-Con and said, I'm sorry, sir, you can't look like this here?
Well, shockingly, there is even more out there beyond.
I've never been to one before.
Right. Yeah. There's a high level of tight apparel.
Oh, heavens.
And sometimes semi-non-existent apparel at Comic-Con. If that brings more people to Comic-Con, I don't know. They did have to change the name due to a lawsuit. So it is FanX. It's no longer Comic-Con.
Okay.
Didn't know
Yes.
The real Comic-Cons in, like,
San Diego.
Yep,
okay. Never been there.
Okay.
So we're walking through City Creek Mall.
Yeah.
And people are just looking.
Sure. Seems fair. Yeah.
Right. You've got this balding, middle-aged man. I did not have the physique I have today. And I think...
Which is impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. People were probably looking at me, and I think some people looked at me and thought, what an idiot. What kind of a man walks around in tights in the middle of a mall? Now, the kids, that's cute, but the man, what a pathetic excuse for a man.
You had
They
some
don't
Do you
matter.
feel like maybe you're projecting on what people...
No, I think
thought
I'm
about
right.
you? Okay.
I think I'm right. Because I don't want to be projecting on this next part.
Okay.
I think there are some people, and in truth, they don't matter either, who thought, what an amazing dad. Look at what he's willing to do for his kids. Now, my daughter's here. I don't want her to yell out, you got your issues,
Yeah,
Dad.
what's your take on that? Is there...
Oh yeah. Well, FanX was definitely interesting because that was definitely the first time
Yeah.
that I think we'd really gone out and done something even like that. And I did not look like Killer Frost. Let's start
She
with
did.
that.
She looked
I
amazing.
didn't-
But it's an
debatable.
obscure character, so.
Yeah, but I had like a $5 wig on.
Right.
And
But was I not the most amazing dad ever?
oh
that-
yeah,
that
for
moment?
sure. At that moment. Other times are
pretty cool.
That
questionable,
didn't
but
feel
you know.
super genuine the way she
I know.
said
Well,
that. but, yeah.
understand that my eldest daughter is an employee at Blue Phoenix Branding.
So
and
she has to say
How old
that.
were you at the time?
Oh, I think I was
probably about 5 years ago.
So probably like freshman year.
Okay.
I think.
Yep. Right. So probably embarrassing for you as well.
Yeah.
Very much so.
But at the end of the day, in truth, none of them mattered.
Sure.
What mattered was I was fulfilling one of my most important duties. And I use that because within a month I was out of a job. And I look at that as a springboard to say, you know what? Just be you. I had an assistant years before when I was at this former place of business. And we don't have a relationship anymore, but she taught me so much about being authentically you, even if that's weird and crazy. She had closed the deal for a client on some luggage tags. And she walked to the CEO's office while I was there, and I see this little arm, like this dance. It's like, that is so weird. But it started to unlock the weirdness in me to where I began to embrace that and recognize that, you know what? If a client doesn't resonate with that, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to own any particular market. There's so much business out there. All we have to do is own those people who are ideally suited for us. And so unlocking that, first with that example, and then walking around in the frigid air in spandex, it started to unlock something to where it's like, hey, Travis, there is a level of zaniness to you.
Okay.
And we're going to lean into that.
Okay.
And if somebody doesn't like that, that's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, it has worked extremely well. Now, I will grant you, I've since kind of sheared my hair off because I learned, probably from our previous president, that you're not fooling anyone by trying to pretend you have hair that
Well,
you
it's the
don't.
flash thing, right? It's the drag. You
yes,
need
it
to
just
reduce drag.
Shot right off.
Yeah,
shot right
I
off.
understand.
So,
Yeah.
but then that year really helped me refine those traits of confidence. And I also look back, shortly thereafter, 2020 happened, and my industry shot down 40%.
Wow.
With no events, no one was ordering lip balm for their trade show. They weren't ordering trade show displays. The industry tanked. That Ford imprint that I talked about that's around $700 million per year, they were down, I think, 35 to 40%.
Wow.
We actually were down maybe a 0.5%.
Oh, wow.
But when you want to be growing 20, 30, 40, 50%, then it feels like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've experienced tremendous growth from that first year. And I just look back at that. And anytime a challenge comes up like 2020, it's like, hey, you've done this before.
Yeah.
You can do it again.
Yeah. I think a lot of people who lived through like the '08 recession, which was really painful
It was.
for a lot of us, looking into the eyes of like COVID and what that was going to do to the economy. I think those who kind of lived through it were like, we've seen this kind of thing
Yes.
before. We can kind of work through this. And then even now where we're sort of looking into the face of maybe yet another recession, I'm not that freaked out by it.
I'm not either.
Yeah. One of the things I learned actually at the same company that I told you about before, where we had our line of credit pulled and we were kind of in trouble, was through that whole recession, we actually grew that whole time. And I realized that not everybody has this luxury, but you actually get to make a choice to participate in that stuff or not. It's really easy to just like throw your hands up and be like, well, it's a recession. Well, that's why we're down 20%. There's nothing that can be done about that. We just made a decision. And part of it was like, we're not making any money. I can't go forever without drawing a salary. We got to figure this thing out.
Absolutely.
Right.
You're going to make it work.
You're going to make it work. So you actually get to choose to participate in that stuff or not. Now, you hit on this thing about authenticity that I absolutely love, which is one of the reasons I like doing business with you, is because I feel like you are who you are and you see what you get and get what you see. And I like that a lot. And I also really appreciate the thought that you're right for some people, but you're not right for everybody, and that's okay. I've always said to my staff for years, like, you can't be everything to everyone.
Nope.
And if you try, you'll be nothing to everyone, right? And so you really have to choose a lane and get really, really good at that lane. I'll share this story with you, and everybody on my staff has heard this story, I think, before, but you probably haven't.
Okay,
so
let's hear it.
I'll share it with you. So I'm a kid, right? I'm probably 6 or 7 years old, something like that. And my family, we had just gotten done with a rodeo. We were going to a steakhouse after, right? I grew up in Texas. This is a normal thing, right?
Indeed. Yep. A regular day.
It's just a day, right? No big deal. We rode our horses. We had rattlesnake. It was great. So I'm just kidding. So anyway, we're at this steakhouse, and the way that this steakhouse is built, and anybody from like the Dallas-Fort Worth area knows the place I'm talking. I can't actually remember what the place is called.
But they know what they're talking about.
But you know what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
okay.
The middle of the restaurant is one of those big, huge steel slides that you see sometimes, that it's like 2 stories tall, right? And then the tables and everything are on the outside. So the idea is kids can go play, parents can enjoy their meal, right? So anyway, I'm playing on the slide and having a good old time. And there's this little girl that goes down the slide before me. I go down after, and she doesn't move when she gets to the bottom. She just stays sitting there. And so I run right into her. The kid's fine. I'm fine. Everybody's fine. The little girl's mother is not so fine, who happens to be at the bottom of this table, right? And so this woman screams and yells at me for hitting her child, and which this also sounds very harsh. In Texas, you're allowed to yell at other people's kids. Like, it's a pretty normal
That actually seems about right.
That's pretty normal. So this wasn't like the first time this sort of thing had happened to me, but I was upset because it felt unjustified to me. I'd been wronged. So I go over to the table where my parents are, and I'm crying, right? And I'm upset. And my old man goes, "Well, what happened?" So I explained to him what happened, right? Tell him the whole story. And he goes, "Which woman yelled at you?" And so I'm like, "That one," right? So I point over to her. And so anyway, my old man, he gets up and he walks over to that woman. I stay at the table. So I don't know what he says, but there's a lot of like this kind of stuff going on, right? And then he comes back to the table and he's like, "All right, it's fine. Go play. Go back and play." I'm still upset. I don't want to, right? And so I don't. My old man's like, "Why aren't you going back and playing right now?" And I told him, "I'm still upset. I don't want to." And this is like forever burned in my consciousness and my memory. He put his arm around me and he goes, "Son, F him." And he goes, "You can't worry about what other people think about you.
Right.
Because sometimes they're wrong. So go on and go play." So I have this thing in my head. It kind of links back to something my grandpa used to say. He used to say that you never approach a bull from the front, a horse from behind, or a fool from any direction, right?
I love it.
Same,
I love it,
it's
yes.
the same kind of deal, right? And so I learned from a very, very young age that you got to be who you are. You got to be authentic. And some people just aren't going to care for it. And that's fine.
Yep.
Right? There's just nothing wrong with that.
100%.
Yeah. I love the story, though. I love the moment of realization where you're walking in spandex. In
I
the cold.
know. We'll send you a picture. You might not love the picture quite as much as the...
My goodness.
Again, I've worked hard on this sense.
I mean, it's a work of art.
I'm not even sure I could fit it in spandex now. It would probably just tear right through.
I mean, yeah, just chiseled out of marble there.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
My goodness. Okay, so if I'm following the story,
Yes.
we go to Twin Falls, we do some planning, and then you go back and you start getting some business, right?
Yes.
So tell me about how that happened.
Yeah,
that transformation.
So we had that year.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I was counting down the minutes. Now, in the meantime, some of the clients over the course of a year changed. For instance, there was a change at your place of business to one that I felt probably wasn't as good a fit. But there were a number of clients waiting. There was a local tribal casino.
Yeah.
It's like, we want minute one. We've been holding our budget for you for a rebrand because they were combining the casino with the hotel. Brand new. So my favorite words are rebrand.
You just see dollar signs. When you hear
That's all it is. Rebrand, reorder, and that's the beautiful thing about what I do. As I said earlier, once we found the perfect pen, lip balm, drinkware, it's just easy when they say we need a billion more.
Right.
It's like, okay, billion it is.
You got it.
Yes, whatever. In truth, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a billion, that's a good sell.
Sure.
And then the one we don't like is redo. So not all of these are, but we have very few redos. Anyway, morning one, I sit down with, I think, 8 people from the entire marketing team with, I'll say it, Shoshone Bannock Casino Hotel. They're fantastic.
Yeah, we know
people.
those guys. We love those guys.
Right, I'm
Yeah.
wearing their socks right now
They're
because
awesome.
we did some socks. If I was more limber, I would hold my leg up. But there's some really cool branded socks.
We'll just flash the logo up on the screen.
yes,
there.
yes.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I've got to be honest, as I pulled into their parking lot that first morning, I just started crying because it had been such a hard year. And I had to be careful about talking. Look, my clients are my best friends. I don't have many friends outside of business.
That
I
doesn't
need
shock
to work
me.
on that.
Yeah.
I know that I don't have many. But you're right.
You can't tee them up like that.
Right,
though,
I know,
really.
I know.
You
But
can't do that.
the self-deprecation has been my sense of humor for a long time, and so I'm good with some of that.
Okay.
And what an emotional moment to sit down with my good friends that, in truth, I couldn't even go visit because I went to a business after hours in Blackfoot, made the mistake of dropping my business card in for a drawing, and I won something which they posted, and that cost me probably $400 just for my lawyer calling me. It's like I wasn't doing business. I was just seeing a friend.
I was just there.
I was just there, and I won a vase. That vase cost me hundreds of dollars.
That won't hold up in court. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, the person who has the most money, and since I had negative amounts, so you just kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
So emotional. Then we helped with that rebrand. My entire team, as they did their rebrand, we did hundreds of shirts, hundreds of bags, all sorts of things as they launched Shoshone Bannock Casino Hotel. That's a tremendous first order.
Yeah.
And that felt good. And then being able to go pick and choose those clients that I thought would be a good fit for us based on personality, based on their needs. Again, if I can't fill your needs well, doesn't matter how big your budget is, I don't want you. If there's someone who, I've got a hospital in Boise, and there's 3 people that order swag there. And they're all wonderful people, but one of them I just can't figure out. As we communicate, and I think this is what you want, we're crossing. So there's nothing wrong with her. I don't think there's anything wrong with me, but she's a poor client as a result because I don't understand what
just
she
out of
needs.
sync, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can get there. Whereas the other two, I was like, you're going to like this. You don't even need to look. And boom.
Yeah.
And so that's been the philosophy. So we went the first year from $187,000, which is operating in the negative with all the expenses. The next year we crossed $1 million.
Now, that's gross revenue?
Gross revenue.
Yep.
Yeah, I made like $10 profit on that. The next year was 2020.
Yep.
And I'm like, I hate to hit $1 million because at Pro Forma you get $1 million jacket. They cancel our $1 million retreat because of COVID. It's like, I do not want to fall below. So with 3 days left, I had a client call and say, look, we need to spend $7,000. We'll figure out what later. I billed him for $7,000, and we hit that $1 million, and I started crying again. And then thank heavens 2020 ended. And we went up significantly in 2021, and we think we'll do that in 2022.
Yeah.
And it's far more difficult now with supply chain issues.
Yeah.
All of our suppliers are struggling to keep employees in stock. As the economy has rebounded and people are ordering swag, they're seeing record numbers and not able to keep up with it. So I will say I'm letting customers down far more now than I ever have before. It cuts at me.
Have you quantified the effect of some of the supply chain issues that we're going through? Like how has that hurt your business ultimately?
I would say, look, we always
Or is it
find,
easier to just like that?
It's easier. I spent a full day last year trying to track down a shipment that had gone to the wrong place.
Yeah.
And as such, half of the shirts did not make it to the local Chuckers game. And I knew they were within 30 miles. Right. So we look at the opportunity cost.
Which direction of those 30 miles? It's hard to say.
If there was a swear jar, it would have been filled to capacity. It would floweth over. And so there's the opportunity cost as we work twice as hard as we submit a purchase order for something and then research and find out a week later that we actually can't get it in time and have to spend that time. So it's truly opportunity cost because we are having to babysit far more than we ever had to do. Yeah. We have to work far harder for the money. Now, $1 million doesn't mean as much in sales and swag anymore because everything's 10 to 15% more expensive. So it's a challenge, but it's a challenge for everybody equally across the board.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So tell me about like your employee like headcount and how you organize the organization and how did that grow over the last 4.5 years and change over the last 4.5
Sure.
years?
There's definitely no organization at all to speak of. I'm a shoot from the head. In truth, I am. I go with what feels good and stuff. But when we started, it was my wife would do some bookkeeping and then me as the primary salesperson. My father-in-law in Oregon, we went there for a week. I said, hey, I can't do business in Idaho Falls. Maybe you could introduce me to some people. Yeah. And within a week, he's like, okay, I'm in. It's like, what? So he does some sales in Southern Oregon part-time.
Yeah.
I have a full-time graphic designer. I've got, you would have met Kyla over there. She moved out of the house, and I hated it so badly, I had to hire her so that I could see her. But she's been a tremendous asset.
And what does she do for you?
I don't know.
She just keeps you alive.
So I talked about that company store that we developed
Yeah.
for that really major corporation out of Oregon. She actually built that company store. It sent out 1,700 unique redemption codes to all the employees for a 2-week period, and now she's kind of counting, and we'll compile that, and in the next month we'll be shipping out to individual employees hundreds upon hundreds of shipments. She puts in a lot of our orders.
She's doing a lot of fulfillment stuff.
100%, absolutely.
Yeah.
And helping keep me sane.
No, that's good.
Teenagers don't normally do that for their
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic shift there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And that's it. That's the company.
That's it. I feel
See-
like I'm lean based on ourselves.
You know what? I think that's such an important lesson to any entrepreneur. You got to get scrappy, right? Like you're not going to have like the fancy building. You're not going to have this huge staff. You're not going to have all these assistants and stuff like that right off the bat. Like it takes years to build into something like that.
Yep.
So I think that's a great lesson, actually. Don't be afraid to be scrappy on this sort of
Right,
stuff.
and understand you have to be.
Yeah.
And that it's going to be so hard.
Yeah.
And it still is.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that I've seen so frequently particularly with like a young entrepreneur, somebody who's never done it before, is I think they think it's going to be easy. Like they have this great idea.
Right.
And they think I can just put the idea out into the universe, and the universe will bless me for my
It'll
genius.
just reward that.
And maybe, right?
Right.
But mostly it's like, hey, we're operating out of our garage.
Yep.
I'm working, 180 hours a week. I expect, my family to chip in a few hours there, right?
Yes. How many times have my younger children stuffed envelopes, created kits for? I mean, it's an all hands on deck, and I don't pay them squat. Right. they're working for food and board. No.
Build character.
Right? Yes, they should have a lot by now.
Well, yeah.
East Idaho Credit Union offers business accounts that will fit your needs. We have dividend earning checking accounts and high yield savings accounts, like our brand new Velocity Money Market that earns up to 2%. Check us out at eastidahocu.org/business.
On stage on my 48th birthday.
Are you worried about your hips, your knees, ankles?
Well, so I've ruptured both Achilles tendons.
Really?
So it's tendons that I worry
Tendons.
about. 100%.
Your bones are going to be like chalk in no time, right?
I probably. In fact, my left eye today, it was blurry for about an hour this morning. It's like, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm going to be on a podcast.
Yeah, like this the whole time. People will think you're drunk if you're like
Right,
this.
right, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so, Travis, we've gotten to hear your story.
Yes.
Now I want your advice.
Oh, God. Believe it or not, in 47 years, no one's ever asked me for my advice.
There's, in our listenership, you've got a lot of small business owners,
Yes.
a lot of entrepreneurs. Those are the people who tune into this sort of thing. If you were going to give, like, your 2-3 bits of advice to the entrepreneur, to the small business owner, what are those things? What would you
Okay.
tell them?
So I don't have many sayings that I refer to, probably because I don't have the capacity to remember very many. But let me start with one. My umbrella salesperson. And how many people can say they have an umbrella salesperson?
I don't know what that means. Explain what that, like, they sell you umbrellas?
Okay, so we're in the branding business. So if you want like 250 umbrellas with your logo on it.
Okay.
My friend Charity with Peerless.
Okay.
So, right.
So that makes more sense. I thought you were talking about like somebody who like comes to your house.
Right. Black market.
It's like you're like umbrella concierge.
Right.
Like this is a very nice model. So it covers
yes.
this much.
They open up their jacket and there's umbrella. No, so
You're like
so
on Canal Street. Hey, buddy, you want one of these guys right here?
But she's a branding expert.
Okay.
Charity with Peerless, one of my top five favorite supplier reps, and a fantastic friend. There's a saying she likes. She didn't make it up. It'll be like Michael Scott when he says you miss every 100% of the shots you don't take.
Wayne Gretzky.
Or Michael Scott. Right. So she did not coin this, but it's not your client's job to remember you. It's your job to be memorable. Now, Travis here could lean into the spandex and be the spandex guy.
and has,
but
yeah.
and that's memorable. But does that inspire people to do business? Well, no. I think I'm memorable because of energy. And make no mistake, I go home and I'm just like on the couch, like, oh, I'm done. Because I spend so much during the day. I get up at 4 and hit the gym and other things like that. So we have to avoid gimmickry as we try to be memorable to our clients. So we're going to dig deep and find that authentic piece of us and really let that shine. And in that moment, we're authentic.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The second, back when Kyla was not afraid of being cool, she...
Oh my goodness.
One of my favorite sayings.
See your face, right?
So you'll know here in a minute. So I think I was down for a day. I love Rocky Balboa, the different 1,000 Rocky movies and stuff like that. Varying degrees
Which
of quality.
one's the best one? Which is
You
the
know
best
what?
Rocky?
The most so. I loved Rocky IV. I know it's considered not very good, but the
that's
whole
the-
Ivan Drago, the tech. I loved the montage of Rocky brutally working out in the winter
and then Ivan
struggling.
like in top, technology,
fancy pants,
fancy
right?
pants,
And I'd say
yeah.
that's actually how I work out is the fancy.
the
but I
fancy
really,
guy.
I'm
You're
I'm-
not out like hitting like sides of beef,
Right,
in the-
correct,
in the
correct.
cooler.
But the
Yeah.
price of beef right now makes that prohibitive. And chicken too, where I'd be bashing chicken breast. But in I think it's one of the Rockies. He's talking to his son. And Kyla quoted this on a
Oh,
day
I
I was
love
down
it.
in her Rocky voice, but she won't do it anymore, so I'm going to.
Could we hear? Could you do the quote
I don't think I can.
in the Rocky voice?
I don't think I
She
can
won't.
recreate that.
Could you try?
My throat's swollen, allergies.
I'm prepared to do such.
Okay, how about this? What if we all take a shot at doing the quote in the Rocky voice?
yeah.
We'll just go around the horn.
Okay.
Okay, are you going to start?
I'll judge of who's the best.
Okay.
I won't participate, but I'll be the
It
judge.
will-
No, you
I'll be
got
the judge.
to.
It
You
will
got
be
to.
Bailey.
I don't think I
Bailey
can.
will.
No.
Shockingly, she's the best Sylvester Stallone.
There's no chance.
Come on. Okay, so
You
what's
got
the quote?
this.
What is it?
Oh, I might have to look it up. It's been a hot second since.
Do you remember what it is?
Yes.
Okay, do the quote.
The
do
first part,
Great.
it doesn't matter. But she was so good, she sounded just like Rocky. Doesn't matter how hard you hit. Matters how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning's done.
That was
So-
amazing.
Bravo.
We're gonna look. We're gonna get hit. We're gonna get hit so many times. A new business owner, I mean, plan on getting hit so many times, and you're gonna get hit in so many ways you did not expect. The key to success here is to just keep moving forward through all. During the pandemic, my industry survived because they pivoted to masks and PPE. We were a huge driver of that. So that's a hit. They don't order swag. I actually didn't have to because I've got a lot of clients that continued to do swag.
Yeah.
But the industry as a whole, hundreds of $1 million of branded, non-branded masks because they got hit and they said, we're going to keep on fighting. Was I pretty close on that quote, Kyla?
I think so.
Yeah, but she
That's how
said
I
she was so
remember it.
cute.
I don't even know how long ago that was.
Okay,
Yeah.
what's the first? I want to hear you try this.
Well, I
Babe.
don't even
what's
know
the
what all
first
you
line?
said. It was
What's-
just so inspiring.
I know
and
nobody-
I was like, wow, this is
Okay.
impactful. You should always speak like
There-
that.
There's sales would increase 95%. Yeah, basically, it doesn't matter how hard you get hit.
There you go. Try that.
Don't drink
I gotta-
water ahead of this.
Gotta focus on my.
Okay, get the biceps going.
I can't even do it without laughing. I can't do it.
Oh yeah.
You got this.
All right, I'm gonna take a try. Well, I've never even tried a Sylvester.
But he
Stallone
looks
before.
more like Sylvester Stallone.
I don't like
than
that
both
at
Bailey
all.
and.
Yeah, I don't care.
I mean,
for
in
that
a good way.
comment.
You have hair.
Yeah.
That's. I mean.
It doesn't matter how.
He would come and kick your butt if he heard you doing that. Hey, I don't sound like that.
I don't sound like that.
Can you do Schwarzenegger?
No, I don't really do many impressions.
I can't do it.
This feels like your weakness.
Yeah, we found
Yeah.
the soft underbelly of my.
I could do. I do Yoda. It's been a long time, and in part. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. That's so good. And I would say that's probably the best advice that I've given today. Hate does lead to suffering.
I think that's true,
I agree
actually.
with this.
Yeah, I mean, for all the laughter we've had here, but like, there's a lot of truth to that statement. Have you ever met anybody who's like genuinely happy that hates everything or hates anything?
No,
really.
No, I don't think it's possible. And I'm going to say, I threw that out there because Yoda impersonations are a huge talent of mine and probably my only one. And so I was hoping for an opportunity.
Hey, there you go.
But
You're welcome.
Look, hate is something I have to fight. I had to make a decision when, in truth, it felt like someone was trying to bury me. And make no mistake, this person was. Now, I could expend all of my energy in kicking back, fighting back, trying to destroy, or I could just go sell. And I at least personally can't do both. I think some people can. I'm incredibly high anxiety, and I had to make a choice. Like, you know what? This non-compete is bullcrap. I'm going to go at it guns blazing. Actually, we don't use that anymore, so I apologize. I'm just going to go into that, and I'm going to win.
Yeah.
Or I could say, you're not good at this fight, Travis. My personality, my mindset does not allow that. So I'm going to drive to Twin Falls once per week. I'm going to donate plasma before I go, so I have enough for a little treat before I get there. And one time I was in too big a hurry and I donated plasma a little too fast and woke up in a pool of sweat.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, I got to get to Twin in 3 hours. So I'm just pumping and pumping. I was like, and there I was. But I was doing that so that I could have a little bit of fun money as I went to Twin Falls. I couldn't do both.
Yeah.
And because I chose to sell, I've built some amazing relationships, even if this doesn't work.
Well, you know what? Yeah, that's so poignant because you do have the choice to put your energy towards something positive or something not positive if you want. And so often we fall into the trap of putting it into being mad about something or fighting with something. And when it's not ultimately productive or positive for us to do, it doesn't actually help us.
So much energy to being right.
Yeah.
Look, it drove you crazy that somebody thought unjustly of you, that you had done something that you didn't actually do, and it drove you crazy as a youth. And your dad just told you, F it, right?
F it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I quoted it verbatim, but I think I'm pretty close.
I think the sentiment is
right,
there.
of course. We only have a finite amount of energy, and we just have to direct it in the proper direction.
That's really good advice. I feel like anytime you start having any sort of success, people see that, and some people hate that, and so that's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Anybody ever been wronged in the room or felt like you've been wronged? We got one hand.
There's a lot of hands
Three
flying up.
hands.
Just, yeah.
And my only point is, man, that's such great advice for everybody. For everybody. Yeah. Okay, what else you got? This is good stuff. What other impressions you got?
Well, if you can do Yoda, you can do Miss Piggy because they're almost.
Okay, but you also do a really good Darth Vader.
Darth Vader?
No, it is not a good Darth
It
Vader.
is.
Let's hear it.
It's
Let's hear
pretty good.
I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Luke. I can't. You are setting me up for failure.
Okay.
By the way, I just watched the final episode of the Obi-Wan. I just watched it, and so I'm like, I'm infused with the dark side energy.
Easy with the spoilers. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh yeah.
No, Darth Vader exploded.
Okay. I figured he had to die in that, right?
No, I did not spoil
I will say
anything.
the breathing in the lead up was really good.
Yeah,
And
I'm asthmatic.
That's like 75% of the Darth Vader. Of
course,
right?
of course.
Just can you get the breathing right?
Well, and what I'm really good at is impersonating his lightsaber style and his choking style. That doesn't translate very well to
Not in audio.
podcasts.
No.
Right. I fail to see where that gets big ratings if I force choke you. But I can.
It'll force people to tune into, this part, not just
Watch
audio.
the podcast announcer lifted from his seat as Travis Powell utilizes his dark force powers. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
But also Bane.
Bane?
Bane.
Oh, I know. But people aren't here just for that.
Okay, that's a good point.
I'm other things too.
No, you're not. Do Bane
this is
for
good.
us.
Yeah.
For that.
This is really good.
You have to understand, most of these I haven't done forever. And
That's
as such,
fine.
Okay, this is
Fine.
the last
Really?
one.
Okay,
I promise.
I feel like it is appropriate if he's going to do it, we have to. Do
I think
Fair.
that's fair.
That's
Okay,
fair.
everybody think of
That
okay.
feels fair.
when Gotham is ash, you have my permission today.
Again, it's been a long time.
That's pretty good.
I love Batman so much. And the only reason I didn't cosplay as Batman is because his face is covered.
Right.
You don't want to cover this
No,
up.
no, that's your moneymaker. You got to hold on to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's Bailey, have you thought of any impersonation?
I was just thinking about this, and I feel like there's one I'm good at, and I cannot land on what it is.
Yeah. It's choosing from the multitude of talents.
I don't feel like I have any impressions really.
This is
are
definitely
some
your
that I-
weakness.
Have I ever done any impressions?
No.
Couldn't you see John Wayne? Well, no.
I don't do any impressions. You know why? It's because my own persona is so likable,
Oh my goodness.
so interesting. Why are
I-
you shaking your heads back there?
Just give us some classic Texas.
You're
Oh, okay,
there we
okay.
go.
So there's a couple that actually the staff likes that I do from time to time.
Okay.
Which are just
The staff likes it.
Oh yeah, so much.
they're just like cowboy sayings
Yes,
and
yes.
stuff like that, right? So like one that I taught Andrea the other day is, hey, get on a rank one and twist it, old son, right? Just stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. I think
Nothing wrong with that.
that alone is worth tuning into. So
But can you explain that to us?
Yeah, I feel like.
Yeah, did that make sense to you?
I couldn't understand a word you said. Again, you're a client, so I'm like, that's dang good.
loved that. Yeah, I've got to not trust you anymore.
That's true.
Okay, so I get on a rank one and twist it. Okay, that's the first part of that sentence. Okay, so what do you think? What do you think that means? What am I talking about?
I seem so smart leading up to this moment, and it's all get on a rank one, maybe a stinky horse. Rank is kind of
Close.
right.
Yeah.
I don't understand the twisting, and understand. I come from cowboy stock, but
Do you?
oh my goodness, yes, my grandpa
But
Blaine
Idaho
Hendricks,
cowboy?
Idaho cowboy.
That's different.
His belt buckle was at least as big as any
it's
Texans.
it's
Idaho
different.
Horseman's Hall of Fame.
Oh,
he won his first saddle when he was like 80 years old.
Okay.
So maybe you're like,
Not
what was he doing the other 79?
Yeah, I mean,
okay, fair enough. Okay.
look, it's different. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give you a little background because this is important that you understand
indeed,
this. Okay. Sorry.
yes.
So you have different cowboy traditions from different regions of the country. Okay. I love they're all sitting back like, oh no.
Gonna fall asleep.
Kyla hasn't heard of those.
Okay, so here's what you got. You got the vaquero style, which is largely West Coast. So you've got like California, Oregon, Washington. Idaho falls into this vaquero style.
Idaho Falls falls into the California one? That doesn't seem right.
No,
Weird.
that feels
That doesn't
wrong,
right.
doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does feel
It's
wrong.
most of the
And
west.
Oregon.
It's most of the western
Okay.
U.S.
Okay.
right? And Idaho falls into that category. And then there's the Texas cowpuncher tradition, which is very, very different. So the vaquero style came from Spain originally.
Okay.
Cowpunchers came from like Ireland, England originally. So you've got these very different styles of cowboying, and there's a big debate over which is more important or which is better than the
Okay,
other.
which one is
Oh,
to
come
you, there's no debate.
No debate.
Not the Idaho Falls Cowboy.
It's cowpunching, right? It's Texas cowpunchers, right?
Okay.
I mean, Texas is in the top 50 of all the states, right? It's a good place.
It is
goodness.
easily
Sure.
in my top 50.
Yeah,
I mean, thank goodness it's not like 53. 'Cause
Right.
That's
that would be embarrassing. Yeah, but it's not. Luckily. Yeah. Okay, what was your impression? What did you come up with?
or a
I-
Baileyism.
I don't think I have an impression.
Okay.
I have just some really good accents, you know?
Another shrimp on the barbie.
What was it? Was that British?
I
Was
don't know.
that-
I think they're all mixed
It's
together.
an what we call an amalgamation.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
did not
Exactly.
want to leave anybody out.
Fair
Exactly.
enough. I like that. Very inclusive.
Very talented.
I was actually talking about this with my husband yesterday. We're like, if we start talking in accents, will Harper, our daughter, who's only one, just like naturally
She
start
might.
talking in accent?
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to do it. Try
do
it. Right?
Do it. Little
Maybe.
social engineering.
Maybe.
here.
Yeah.
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 So I'm going to start talking like this.
That's a bloody good idea.
So rank one is a bull.
Okay.
It's a bull riding
Right, yeah.
reference,
I
right?
was getting there.
And you twist it because that bull
Right. Okay.
does this whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway.
So
there
why
you go.
were you telling Andrea to?
I don't remember. Why was I explaining that to you the other day?
We were just talking about cowboy sayings,
Oh.
and you were just trying to learn me something good.
I I love that she
Learn her something good.
Dang, that was the most Texas thing you ever said.
Oh my goodness.
She slipped that in on purpose. I like that.
She
Okay,
done
okay.
learned.
So back to the topic
Yes,
at hand.
this needs to be about me.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, very sorry about that. Yeah. What other bits of advice would you give? You had 2 really, really good ones there.
Oh, and you wanted 3. I don't.
3.
The Yoda one did not count. When you, and we've covered this a little
Okay.
bit. Look, if someone sends me an email and ends it with regards, that's not my client. If they have emojis, smiley face emojis, things like that. But I'm leading to the point, when your selling philosophy aligns with their buying philosophy, that is, their needs align with your capabilities, personalities, once those fit, you have no competition. And I truly subscribe to that. So it behooves you as a business owner to take a look at what your superpower is. I'm writing a book. I'm not going to tell you the full name, but it has spandex in the name. It's a really good name.
Can already
You heard it
you
here
on the
first.
cover.
You know, and it.
I think we saw that picture during the break.
Yeah, I know,
actually.
but we'll get professional photos for that. Whatever the case may be, when you determine what that superpower is, and you figure out how best to implement that in your business, and then you market that in such a way that those people who are readily receptive, who are hungering for your needs, again, you don't have competition, so you're not reacting on price. You're not reacting on so many things. You're proactively saying, that's my client, and you're going and getting them.
Yeah.
And it's not as easy as that, but my
it is,
goodness,
too.
that epiphany, once I recognized,
Yeah.
I want to love my clients, and make no mistake, again, you made sure everyone knows I don't have any friends outside of, I love my clients. I really do. If I don't love them, I honestly don't want them, and that's nothing against them. I want to be able to enjoy it. It's stressful enough doing things during these tumultuous times when you're helping someone that you really like.
Right.
When it's somebody that you just don't care for that much, and I like most people, so it's maybe not that big a deal, but that alignment has yielded incredible results for us.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, really, really good. Bailey, did you want to ask anything else?
What do you call a rabbit with fleas?
I am so terrible with jokes. I never get them.
You know it? You really do?
What is it?
Go for it.
Bugs Bunny.
You saw it on 17th Street. He saw the sign.
There's on 17th Street.
Yeah.
That's where I would go for a good joke is 17th
Yep.
Street.
Yep.
Okay.
Read all the billboards, all the signs.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good to know.
Whose
if I need to
billboard
bring
is
it up.
that?
I think it was a veterinary. Yeah.
Oh, that would make
You know what? I passed by that and
Yeah.
I didn't take the time to read it. I just remember
Read the
seeing
joke.
Bugs Bunny on it.
Suddenly their traffic increases like 700% as people are driving by, based on Bailey's word.
My favorite one in town is the air conditioning. Your wife's hot. You need to buy her air conditioning. That one. Have you seen that one? No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Your wife's hot. Pause. and then you go.
Buy-
with
yeah,
the
yes,
AC. Yeah.
probably a good idea.
Yeah. That's pretty solid. Yeah. I
good one.
appreciate that. Travis, thank you so much for joining us.
I had a blast.
This was so fun.
And I knew it would, because I really, I love you guys. And you and I could probably blab for 20
I mean, we'll
straight
probably
hours, so.
turn off the microphones and talk for another
Probably.
half hour.
I mean, I got swag to sell, but yes.
Well, we appreciated it and had a blast and great wisdom, great experiences, plenty of laughs. It was a good time for everybody.
And great swag, too, by the way.
Yeah, actually, that's
Dragon
right.
Slayer tumblers.
This is all Travis right here. Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
Inspiring people to wear spandex.
Yes, if we see a bunch of people wearing spandex around town,
Is that the name? Is that the name of the book?
No. No, I get. Okay, so
Spandex around town.
So I put this out.
Spandex around.
I put this out about 3 years ago. I was like, here's kind of what I want to do for a book, but I'm stuck because I need a title that will help move me. And a bunch of people threw some ideas out. And as soon as I saw the perfect one, I deleted. Because I loved it that well, I didn't want anyone
So
to
what were
steal
some
it.
of the failed titles, the working titles?
I'm God, I don't know because they sucked so bad. I
don't remember a single one.
No, I'm actually, because there was one that just shined. As soon as I saw it, I deleted it, didn't want anyone to take it. And a little bit of retooling based on some current events. Because look, we all have some superhero qualities. But I've come to learn that it's a huge burden to think yourself a superhero and find out that to some degree you're impotent in that regard. And so I was thinking about this. I read an article yesterday. We've all seen the Toy Story saga. Buzz Lightyear thought he was a hero that could save the cosmos, and how deflating it was when he found out that he was just a toy, but how much happier he was when he found that he was a superhero. Just on that smaller scale.
He was also a toy. He recognized both.
Once he recognized that he was a hero to Andy, that he could help Andy. It's Andy, right?
Yeah. You don't know?
Right. Yeah. I think that's powerful for us as we, there's the great power comes great responsibility. Sometimes that presses too much. And we need to figure out where we are strong. Just what that is.
How do you figure out, because I totally agree with this statement, how do you figure out what you're a superhero with while still maintaining a humility of recognizing that you have deficiencies as well? How do you be both superhero and toy?
I'm working on that. So over the last few months, I've seen people who I've tried to help, just by maybe just building them up. I think that's something I'm really good at, is building people up, regressing into some of the things that I'm like, oh, that's the same old thing that I thought I was helping you see. You were so much better than that, and that started to beat up on me. And so I do. I've had a superhero complex for some time. My brother was killed in a car accident 2 weeks ago. And, heartbreaking to know that I can't affect things the way that I thought I could affect things. And so there's a recalibration as I understand that there is still value in whatever I bring to the table, while unburdening myself with the idea that I can save everything. And as I'm slowly peeling myself away from that thought and finding where I really can be a superhero. And you can, whether it's in business, whether it's in our personal life. And sometimes that's just going to the gym and that's smiling at somebody. That's how we can be. But once we get to that point where we understand where we can truly make that difference. So that's the recalibration of the book, because it's irresponsible of me to put that too far, when in truth there's so many things that are beyond our control, and people make their choices, and we live with those consequences by trying to help where we can. And so I don't know. I'm working on that during this challenging time. And I laugh through pain. So I'm sorry, Bailey.
You're making me cry.
I know.
No, it's good.
It's been the hardest thing I've ever been through. And you know what? I delivered caps to you like a day after.
I know.
Because I deal with those things. But in those quiet moments of introspection, where you find out who you are. And so I don't know if that's a good answer, except that we all have this special superpower within us. And we just have to understand where we can best wield that sword, so to speak, to slay our dragons.
Yeah. Now, thank you for sharing that. I obviously knew about that experience. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I think that's your experience, and this is a thing that you're having to go with and deal with right now. We all have our thing.
We do.
Right? And as I've thought through, like, how do you have the humility of a servant and be a superhero at the same time? And I don't know that there's a perfect answer to that question, right? There probably is, and I think it's just something that we discover along the way. But one of the things that I think I always come back to is empathy for the experiences of others.
Yep.
It's really, really easy for me to be caught up in my own thing, whatever my own thing is. And one of the things I've watched you do that I've been really impressed with, and Bailey, I've watched you do that I've been impressed with, and a lot of the people that are in this room, is to take their thing and recognize that they can heal that thing by helping others around them. It's beautiful, right? There's a lot of ugliness to humanity, but there are things that are incredible. Absolutely incredible. And that's one of the beautiful things I get to see that I've watched you do, and I've watched a lot of you guys do. It's been really incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
No, thank you. It's part of the story. It's an unfortunate part of the story, but those help refine us.
Yeah, they
and
do.
Stuff. And I truly appreciate. You're 100% right. I think people are good. There's so many people who look at the world right now and it's doom and gloom, and it's the worst ever. I think if we look through a historical lens, it sucks right now. There have been far worse times. There's never been a better time for so many people to be alive with the medical advances, economy-wise, and we have to look at that and then understand that we're just there. We're all part of one team, and we've got each other's backs. And I have seen that the last 2 weeks as the families come together, as friends have come together in ways that I didn't even know. And it will bring my family closer together, and there's a silver lining in the midst of something absolutely tragic. That's one of the many.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen, brother. Yeah, I agree. Okay. The last thing I want to do here is titles to Travis's book. That's the last thing I want to do. Let's go around the room. I'll start.
It has to have the word spandex.
It does. It does have.
Yes.
Wait, Kyla, have I told you?
No, you actually haven't.
Oh,
I
I have
didn't-
played this.
You don't know it yet.
I didn't know Hispanics was even going to be in the title.
It's going to be in the title. It's that good.
Okay, I'll start. I'm gonna go Spandex Daddy. How about that?
I mean, no, but I mean, there's a chance that I just say, "Oh my gosh, that's even better."
That might be a different book.
And then I'll have to give you royalties. Yeah, we'll of course need a sequel.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Who else has got one?
Spandex leads to success.
Oh,
It certainly has here.
yeah.
Maybe it's in spite of.
Or you could it could be like slimming your failures, the Spandex story.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that.
How about that?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We got some good ones here. Yes.
one.
My goodness.
If it's like a biography, a peek inside my spandex.
Again, spandex is so revealing. You don't really need a peek inside. Thank goodness it was cold that day. So.
That's hilarious.
That's the expose
crying.
later.
That's the foreword to the book. Will be titled.
If
that.
this whole swag gig does not pan out, then we can look at. Yeah. Okay.
I'm crying.
Oh, my
That was pretty good.
goodness. That's solid. Anybody else is got
Nobody
a book
can top
title?
that now.
I know.
Gotta,
That's
like,
okay. We can keep going.
drop the
Go.
mic.
Anybody? Nothing.
I don't think so.
What color spandex is your favorite?
Well, so I am Blue Phoenix branding.
Yeah, so it's-
I love blue. It's rare. I've started to branch out and wear black stuff. So I did a podcast a year ago, and it was this light blue shirt. And what I found is that when you sweat in July, because this was in July, it has this big wet stain. And so I spent the entire podcast like this because I did not want to show it. So I'm going to say black.
Black,
that
black spandex.
Yep, absolutely.
Smart. That's really smart.
Hides things. Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's your title. Black spandex hides things.
Spandex hides. We've got, I mean, you guys have set me on this path to success with sequel after sequel. I don't know if you call books sequels.
Yeah, black spandex hides things. That
Right.
writes itself.
Yes.
I mean, yeah,
Hides things.
easy.
Yep.
Easy. Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right,
That's
for
a good
real
one.
this time. Travis, thank you.
Yeah, right. This is not uncommon with us. So
This has been great. Thank you for joining us on the Dragon Slayer podcast by East Idaho Credit Union. We had a great time with our favorite guest, Travis. We hope to see you next time.
I wondered. How long am I going to have to flex this arm to look good and suck it in?
Probably like a really long time. You might actually do this move here, Travis, where you put
Right.
your hand.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Is there an organic way to do that from the side?
Elvis, that's it right there. That's
Yeah.
great. Hey, we need to zoom out. Hey, we need to zoom out.
Just mug for the camera there.
Well, my arm will be shaking by the end.
Now I
Just
feel,
quivering with testosterone.
and now I feel embarrassed that I'm not showing. a
You
little more skin.
should. You should. I know.
goodness.
I'm
Just
sorry.
Tear the sleeves off.
That's
this
the
thing.
danger when you invite someone like me on.
You know what? I will
centerpiece.
admit, I do have a shirt just like this.
Yeah.
Sleeves tore off
Of course.
for beach day.
Why?
You know, for beach day. That's what it's for.
Yeah. No. That, or Friday night at Maverick.
Friday
parking
night at
lot.
Maverick parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys call it a mullet. I call it the Lord's work.
I-
You know.
I
That's
would. Yeah.
nothing wrong with
think it
that.
works.
Are we not wearing headphones?
Oh, we can. Do we want to?
Are we not?
I would not have trimmed my ear hair if I knew we were. I'm kidding. It's all there.
It's all there. We know.
It's like, yeah, I know,
Yeah,
Travis.
we see
No.
it. Yeah.
No. Dang, I was fully prepared. Would have worn earrings.
Hey, so
Okay.
what happened to the raisins?
I was
want some?
told to
Yeah,
get rid of
get
them.
those raisins
Thank
over here.
you.
Because I feel like, should we just try some? Should we just experience a couple raisins?
You experience it for me. I'll watch and enjoy.
You're off the raisins.
It's a very strict meal plan right now.
You okay?
I'm 12 weeks out.
You can't have a raisin.
No, especially when there's the cameras right there. If that got back
Okay.
to my trainer,
Okay.
someone filmed me the other night.
Oh, okay, look.
It's
The
blackmail. because I was
calorie of
eating
a
stuff.
single raisin.
Okay, look at this. You got
You would see it just go.
vanilla. You got chocolate.
Plus, Ed works out at Gold's. I don't know if I trust him not to spill the beans.
He
together.
definitely. He's
Yeah.
He's a tattletale.
You're like,
for sure.
yep.
Yeah.
Travis ate raisins.
There's
Just one. You won't even try
Yeah,
one.
there-
I'll try. Okay, just one.
there's not even nutritional facts on here, so I don't think there's calories.
I'm probably right.
feel really good about
That's true
that,
on my meal
yeah.
prep. It's like if there's
Yeah.
no nutritional facts on the box, you can eat as
Yeah.
much.
Okay,
as
okay,
you want.
okay, so which
I
one
do.
do you
I would
want?
like the strawberry.
Strawberry. I'm gonna indulge in a strawberry with
I
you.
think that'll be good.
Okay, why do we have these?
Because there are snacks.
But why are they our snacks? Who? Like, I don't think there's any like 7-year-olds here that need.
You're 7.
Okay.
I think he's saying Mike and Ike's Skittles and Starburst probably would.
I'm just curious how this decision was made. Yogurt covered raisins.
It seems
Who
like
did
a good
this?
snack
Who bought
for you.
these?
Andrew and I.
We bought them just for you.
Why?
Just to make
Have
it
I
fat,
ever
actually.
made a statement of like I love
Yeah.
yogurt covered raisins?
Strawberry.
I don't think I've ever said that
yogurt-covered
before.
raisins.
It's a small one,
go.
so
Here
This
we
is
go.
concerning. May contain an occasional grape stem or wood piece.
Oh, I just ate it.
I don't care who you are.
Okay,
That's good.
you know
That's
what?
Really good.
That's really good, actually.
Boom!
Yep.
Validation.
I'd say you should feel bad for your previous comments. I don't think you do.
I apologize to everybody. Yeah, I shouldn't have been, so skeptical of these. But they're. Why are they so good?
I don't know, but I just about for some reason you're.
If
I
I
almost projected laugh water at you.
Oh,
if I ever make it to be an influencer in my life, I hope I can be sponsored by raisins.
Do you know
Hey,
the California
you heard it here
raisins?
first.
Or you dum bum 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 bum.
you know
bum,
what?
bum,
After the
bum,
second
bum,
raisin,
bum.
though,
Oh, I heard it through the grapevine.
I remember those. Those were
Yeah,
so good.
Little claymate or like Play-Doh.
Yeah, they were like
raisins.
claymation.
Bum 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 bum. Yeah,
You remember
guys aren't
those?
old enough.
You remember those? The California raisins?
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, it was quite
90s.
quite the
It was
fashion.
really
Yep.
a 90s kind of.
And it put me in a spot where I didn't want to eat raisins because I felt
Well,
bad.
because you liked them.
Exactly.
Yeah, they
I'm like, I can't do
seemed
that. They have
like
family.
Pretty cool
Yep,
cats.
yep.
Yeah,
They
you didn't want to do anything. Yeah.
Raisin? Anything raisin?
Okay, the second raisin, not as good. First one, you're like, that's delightful. The second
well,
one,
and that's where I stopped.
you hit just the perfect spot.
There was prescience.
Yeah, I don't get those out of here. Okay, so
Product placement. Sponsored by.
we're not getting sponsored for nearly enough to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.